What's going on, guys? It's MX Reloaded. Today we are playing some Sharky Peninsula, and Sharky's got to be one of my favorite Karkand maps. I like Karkand, like most of the maps. I think Gulf of Oman's okay. I think it was a lot better in Battlefield 2, but in general, I'm really impressed with how they remade a lot of these maps, especially with Destruction. They made it seem really good, especially with Sharky and Karkand at least. These two maps really impressed me, and they were able to remake them really well. And I was also really impressed with how they did Rush in these maps. It blows me away every time to think that, I remember these places from playing Battlefield 2 as a kid, and now they're being used in Battlefield 3 Rush today. It just kind of blows my mind away. But what we're kind of talking about today is not really, the maps of, Karkand, expansion pack. We're going to be talking about the M416, which is this gun, running it pretty much. How I like to run this gun is you run it heavy barrel. You know, I like to use, you can use whatever sight you like, but I like to run the Cobra on it. I think it makes it feel really nice. And then pretty much just that heavy barrel and sight of your choice. Foregrip is okay in some situations, but I like to have no foregrip on. It just makes it feel a little better in my eyes. It's your choice. I mean, I just think it performs a little better without it. And the reason why I've taken so recently, I'm not sure if you've seen, I've taken such a good interest into this gun is because I've heard rumors that it's going to get buffed. And considering how good it is already, that means that it's going to be a really, really good gun. It's. I mean, this gameplay I was doing pretty well. I consider fairly well for this being like my third or fourth game of the day. And I was really impressed with how this gun really works. Yeah, that's just kind of my view on this gun. Um, this gun always impresses me. Now, I've finally learned. I I didn't previously listen to Level Cap and Rival X Factor. Sort of, you got to pull slightly down to the left, with certain guns, but it actually really works. And I was really surprised because I used to just kind of like pull down and hope that it stayed on target. But if you pull down and like in the direction that you're supposed to pull down, it actually works really well, and it surprises me a lot how it always ends up working out. You can stay right on target like every time. Um, and this is a fail right here. I do not know exactly what just happened right there. Um, yeah. But let's get a little bit more into the specs of this gun from gun to gun. Um, Let me bring up the charts. Oh, here we are. All right. For the M416, the stats are. Let me see. It's 750 rounds per minute. Um, and it does, the standard damage that every other assault rifle does. It has a side. Well, basically, it's leftwards. I don't know if that's a word. It's left pulls to the left 0.1, pulls to the right 0.3, and pulls vertically 0.28, which means that it will pull basically up and to the right, which means you want to pull down and to the left to control it. And I find that you really, really want to focus on pulling to the left, because the leftwards, like the recoil to the right is a lot more than the recoil vertically. So you're going to want to pull to the side a little bit more with this gun. And it really, if you get that down, it really helps. Every bullet will stay on target. And it's just a whole, it's changed my game really recently. Another thing that's kind of going on, I found recently, is that because of this M16 nerf, this gun will basically be beating it. Now, from as soon as the patch comes out sometime next month, this gun will become probably the new dominant one. If it's actually getting buffed, and if the M16 is actually getting a sufficient nerf this time, then this gun will actually be good, and probably one of the best new competitive guns that this game will have. Because we'll just compare some of the stats right now. The M16 has 800 rounds per minute, and and has a vertical recoil of 0.25, a left recoil of 0.1, and a right recoil of 0.3. And basically the only difference between the M16A3's vertical recoil, or the M16 recoil at all, to the M416 is vertical recoil. And it's a difference of 0.03 basically. So it's really not that much different. It just, the only real difference between the two is the rate of fire. And the rate of fire of the M16 just makes it ideal with that sort of recoil. Makes it manageable and easy to use. But if what I've heard is true, kind of about this whole thing, there's gonna be a patch. The M16 is gonna get a lot more recoil, and then this M416 is gonna become, it's gonna get a buff, which basically means what I think DICE is doing here is they're basically replacing the M16. They're basically going to give us a gun that is basically going to be the M16. Probably it might even be better than the M16 is right now, with 50 rounds per minute less than the current. And really, I think that's going to be the really only difference. It's going to be 50 rounds per minute less. And if you really think about it, 50 rounds per minute, it can be the game changer, but it's really not that much of a difference. You can still survive with that many things, but I am a little annoyed that is how it's going to be, that this whole M416 is going to basically be replacing and perhaps surpassing the M16. I personally think that they shouldn't buff it at all, because it's going to be even better than it is now, and it performs really well now. I mean, if you look at how it works, if you learn how to control it, if you learn how to master it, it's a beast. And they're just going to be making it even better than it already is. And I think this is probably, at the moment, I think this is the best all-around rifle other than the M16. And there I got trapped by some random recon who decided he didn't want to move up the stairs. And got killed by another recon. Sometimes the people that play this game are just, I don't even know. I don't even want to begin, because there's people that play this game that have no morals, they just use whatever works, and that includes the M16. And I don't like people that use the M16, but it's hard to call it overpowered because it's an assault rifle. It's not like USAS 12 frag rounds. It just is a good gun, like a really good gun. And it bothers me to call it overpowered sometimes, but that's just what it is. So I really recommend that you start using this gun. It's really good, and it works for me all the time. It's probably my main new gun. I'm still deciding whether or not I really am going to start using it a bunch compared to the AUG and AEK, but I've really been liking it recently. And hopefully you guys start liking it, start using it, try it out. It's really good. You just need to try it out, really try to master how it works, and it will reward you, potentially even more if it actually gets buffed. It is a really good gun. That's pretty much it for right now. Leave your comments and opinions. If you're pleased with DICE, buffing it and nerfing the M16, give your opinions on those. And yeah, peace out, guys. Late.